Alright punters, we're back, currently on holidays with the family in beautiful sunny Glenelg. Over here for the week, so unfortunately won't be at the races for Attrition's third start. Attrition spelled at the end of the winter, I want to say. Missed out on the spring. I think he's going to be an autumn horse, so thought that he would benefit from some time in the paddock. And then he's come back into work. His work's been a little bit lazy by the sounds of it, reading between the lines, and just had to show a bit of patience to see where he was at with his progress, because it sounded like he kind of stagnated a little bit and was probably potentially getting a bit bored with his work. But that's kind of swung around, so he's had 2 trials. The first trial was even, just to kind of wake up kind of. Then there was talk of a second and maybe even a third trial, depending on how he went. The second trial was a lot more positive. He kind of jumped handy, sat off the back of the leader and then quickened and kind of ran away from him. I'm not sure if there was anything special in the trial, so sometimes trial form's a little bit hit and miss, but the trial seemed to be pleasing to the eye. We had Jared Fry on, Australia's best jockey, for the second trial, and he was kind of given strict guidance to kind of make sure he stays on top of him because he might switch off. We've seen in his first kind of 2 races, definitely the Sandown race on the heavy track, he kind of floated in the straight once Jamie Carr asked for him. And if you watch the replay again, he kind of runs down the straight with his head in the air the whole time, having a look around, doesn't really put his head down and kind of attack the line as you'd like to see a more mature horse do. But it was only his second start. He's still a colt. We didn't have the blinkers on, so we'll forgive him for that. It was a heavy 10, so he didn't seem to really like that. So we're in this Wednesday at Sandown, so it's a Metro Maiden. Pretty hard to get a form line through it. He's currently the favourite. I think he's got the best form leading into the race. I think the negatives for him is that he's drawn a wide barrier. I think he's out of 12, which isn't ideal. I think he's not going to be the quickest away, so he could end up at the back of the field, or he could end up posted 3 wide with no cover. So those are the 2 knocks on him. The other knock on him is probably going to be a bit soft first up over 1400 metres, whereas some of these horses might be second or third up. There's also some unknowns in the race, some horses that haven't had starts, namely Peter Moody's got one that Jamie Carr's riding that looks like it could be handy. I'm not 100% sure. Jamie is riding 3 of Moody's horses in the first 3 races. The first race is she's riding a horse called Nunthorpe, which I think a couple of weeks back went to Cranbourne for 1 ride and rode that horse. So it's a horse that I've kind of been following. So I'm kind of hoping that Jamie's just gone out there to ride Nunthorpe, and the other 2 Peter Moody horses, she's just picked up the rides to give her something to ride in those races, and that maybe they're not as good as what Nunthorpe could be. So that's probably the danger in the race. The horse called Brazen Kingdom. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to do. We seem to have the other horses kind of covered in terms of class, but as I said, we've drawn a wide barrier and he might be a bit soft first up the 1400. So major concerns for me is that he's going to get caught 3 wide with no cover. I'd take 3 wide with a little bit of cover, tow him into the race and kind of let down. The other option is that he goes back in the field, which isn't ideal because he's going to have to be pretty good to kind of get past them in the straight from right back in the field. So not ideal, not sure where he's going to end up, but I think he could be flashing home for a third again, and we'll have to wait for another day for him to break his maiden. But I just kind of want to see what he does on a good track. This is the first time that he's met a good track. Everyone's saying that he'll be a different horse on a good track. He doesn't get the blinkers. Obviously, we don't want to have a gut buster first up. This is more just a prep run for something later in the prep. But yeah, we'll just see how he goes. Hopefully he doesn't float too much in the straight. Jared Fry gets the ride again, which is good. I think he'll be able to stand over him and might have a bit more knowledge about how to ride him this time, because he can get a bit wayward in the straight. So let's wish him luck.
Here he is.
Who's the favourite?
Yeah.
Number 4. You're going to be 4 next in July.
For a start. Maiden here, ready, and away they go. And towards the inside, beginning okay was Memphis Shadow. Gets to about midfield. Hurricane Katut, Normandy Bell with Cryptic Clue. Plenty of speed on here. Skinny Dip out wide's also forcing up and driving up on the inside. Think Rock. So they're still trying to find their early positions. Getting through along the inside. Memphis Shadow got through to 4th. And our Deep Brazen Kingdom taking its time to whip up out deeper. 2 further back in the field. Then along the inside is Never Dance. And then came off the back section, throwing the head about Hurricane Katuk at that stage. Also in that group of horses off the back section at the 850, Attrition second last, and Mirroring is at the tail of the field. They run downhill here on the lakeside. 650 out, Normandy Bell from Skinny Dip and Brazen Kingdom 3 wide. 4th is Think Rock on the inner, then Memphis Shadow. Next in the field, Cryptic Clue as they run the corner. Next in the field along the inside is Never Dance from Bedford Estate, and then came out deeper on the course Attrition, and Mirroring goes back to the end. Normandy Bell at the 400 metres led. Brazen Kingdom is tanking up on the outside. Car hasn't moved yet. Brazen Kingdom took the front. Skinny Dip trying to go with it. Memphis Shadow into the clear and Attrition out wider. Brazen Kingdom with 150 to go. Attrition's coming hard. Attrition from the back of the field. Storms up, takes the lead. Attrition, race clear to win it, almost 3 lengths. Second, Brazen Kingdom. Third, Memphis Shadow from Skinny Dip. Then a gap, Never Dance in company with Normandy Bell and Hurricane Katuk from Mirrorwing. Then came Think Rock, Cryptic Clue.
He won! He won! High five!
I could be dragged him out of bed.
Oh!
Yay!
Oh!
Vinny, are you happy? Are you happy?
Oh, he was pretty
Are you
good.
happy? Are you happy? Daddy happy?
Oh, Daddy's very happy. What a great holiday.
Woohoo, Daddy! Finally.
On the board, finally.
Another beer?
Oh, I might have to have 10. Can you go and get 10? He's pretty good.
Covered with the ground.
Oh. Watch the replay. Pretty sure he was last the rail.
Got some chips here, Eli?
All right, punters, we're back. Post-race review. Attrition's just won his first race, which is fantastic. Long time coming. It's taken us, this is the 4th horse of the series to get the maiden out of the way, so big tick for that. Hit a milestone finally, broke the maiden, so pretty excited. The post-race review, I'm still shaking, sorry about this. Yeah, he jumped where we kind of thought he would. He was out wide and didn't jump too quick, so ended up back of the field. And I was kind of thinking at that stage that we were in a bit of strife. I think at one stage he was even last the rail, so kind of said to the missus, he's going to have to be pretty good from here because not too many win from that position. Kind of talking myself out of it already, trying to lower the expectations because it looked like a train wreck about to happen in front of me. They seemed to go pretty quick, so to the 800, it looked like they were running a pretty quick tempo, which was going to benefit us in the race because he didn't do a lot of work to get to his position, but he did end up a long way back in the field. So I was pretty nervous. They kind of rounded the corner, and it's on the lakeside track, so it's a lot sharper corner and a shorter straight, which wasn't going to really suit him, which I was a little bit concerned about. I thought he was going to run out of straight and again flash home for third. And Jared Fry just seemed to be able to get him out into clear air pretty easily from the back of the field, and then asked the question of him, and he kind of just let rip. It was actually a really impressive maiden, I thought. Just charged from the back of the field. He just looked like a different animal compared to the rest of the field. They were kind of all dying for the line, and he was just savaging the line. So the positives for me, the big positive for me is just how professional he did it. As I said previously, he's kind of without the blinkers on. he's kind of got in the straight, and you know, they ask the question of him and he kind of sticks his head up and wants to have a look around at what's going on. This time he just kind of stuck his head down and just attacked the line. And when he got to the front, he even extended away from him. He didn't kind of get lost or not know what to do. Yeah, it was a really impressive win. I thought. I want to keep the lid on, because it's a maiden at the end of the day, and you know, sometimes you're not running against much. As I said, I think the Moody horse ended up finishing second, so it'll be interesting to see where that fits in the scheme of things. But yeah, maiden out the way, which is a great relief finally, after, you know, 3 that we couldn't get the maiden out of the way on, and he's gone and done it, and he's gone and done it in pretty good fashion on a Wednesday at Sandown. So yeah, see where we get to, but the big positive for me was just the way that he did it. It looked like to me that Jared Fry kind of knew what he had under him. As I said, he's rode a little bit of his work recently, and he rode him in the second trial, and you know, I thought I was watching a train wreck, whereas Jared kind of just sat back on him and must have thought, if I can get him some clear air, he's just going to run over the top of him, because I don't know why else you would have put him. You would have put him where he put him. So the total prize money of the race was of 55,000. So the winner get about 30,000, I'd say. So to this point, Attrition, to get into his first win, cost us $3,800. The prize money for my 1.5% share will end up being around $450, which brings the total cumulative cost of Attrition to this point to $3,350.
Horse went really well. Just switched off beautiful in the run, and as you can see, we were just building. We got a nice smooth run throughout, and the horse was just waiting for me to pull the trigger. And Misha said just to sort of make sure that it's hitting the line rather than stopping. So I was just sort of making sure that I waited to make sure I run the trip out, and when I pulled the trigger, it's got a really dynamic turn of foot. So, and I think it's only going to mature more. Like, he was really good today, but like in his trials and his piece of work, he's sort of been a little bit wayward. Where today, when he let rip, he went straight, and he's a really nice horse.
Well done, mate.